So last February, I put out a video saying the Fever's off-season wasn't going to work. Bonner, Howard, Cunningham, everyone was losing their minds. ESPN handing out A-plus grades. Rebecca Lobo going on TV saying they're in the title conversation with New York, Minnesota, and Vegas. And I'm sitting here going, nah, this isn't it. I said Bonner wouldn't fit. I said the age thing was real. I said they built the wrong roster around Clark. People in my comments were mad. You don't know ball. Bonner's a champion. Just say you hate the Fever. Bonner got waived after 9 games. 9. Averaged 7.1 points, worst of her career, then just walked away. Said the fit didn't work out. Meanwhile, Clark played 13 games all year. 3 different injuries. Done by mid-July. Missed the All-Star game in her own city. And somehow, they still almost made the finals. Game 5 overtime against Vegas, like 5 minutes away from playing for a championship. Odyssey Sims, a player most casual fans had never heard of, nearly dragged them there. Wild, right? So now everyone's asking what they do next. And I gotta be honest with you, I think they're about to do the same thing all over again. Okay, let me get this out of my system real quick. I need my victory lap. DeWanna Bonner, 6-time All-Star, 3rd in scoring in WNBA history, 15 years in this league, 2 championships, the whole resume. Lasted 9 games in Indiana, career low 7.1 points per game. Shot attempts cut in half from what she was doing in Connecticut. Got benched. Then suddenly, personal reasons, and she's not traveling with the team. Then waived. Gone. See ya. And look, I'm not trying to pile on Bonner. She's a legend. First ballot Hall of Famer. But I called this exact scenario. I said she couldn't go from being the main option in Connecticut, where she was taking 13 shots a game, where the offense ran through her, to being like the 4th option behind Clark and Mitchell in Boston. That's a massive adjustment for anyone. For a 37-year-old who's been a star her whole career? Nearly impossible. I said being away from Alyssa Thomas all season was going to mess with her head. They'd been together 5 years, playing together every day. Now suddenly she's in Indiana, and Thomas is in Phoenix, and they're seeing each other, what, twice a season? The vibes were off from day one. You could see it. I said a 37-year-old can't run with Caitlin Clark every night. Clark plays at a different speed than anyone else in this league. She wants to push, 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 get out in transition, make the early read. Bonner's game is slow it down, get position, operate in the half court. Those two styles don't mix. And when Bonner couldn't keep up, when she wasn't producing, they shipped her out. $200,000 to do basically nothing. But here's the crazy part. After she left, team actually got better. Kelsey Mitchell had the best season of her career. Stepped up huge when Clark went down. Had that insane stretch in August where she was averaging like 25 a game. Lexi Hull turned into a real rotation player. Went from, maybe she plays 10 minutes to, she's starting in the playoffs and we need her. And Odyssey Sims. Man, she came in off a hardship contract, which for people who don't know, that's basically an emergency signing when you're down too many players. Teams use it to fill roster spots, usually with players who aren't going to do much. Sims dropped 27 in a playoff game, career playoff high. Tied the game with 22 seconds left in regulation of Game 5 against the defending champs on a hardship contract. So maybe the lesson is, it doesn't matter how big the name is if they don't actually fit what you're doing. You can have all the accolades in the world. If the pieces don't fit together, it doesn't work. Question is, did the front office learn that? Because we're about to find out. But before we talk about what they should do this offseason, we gotta talk about Caitlin. Because this is the thing nobody really wants to discuss. She played 13 games last season. That's it. 13 out of 44. Let me walk you through it because it was kind of a nightmare. Season starts great. Opening night, she has a triple-double against Chicago. Fever win by 35. Everyone's talking championship. Then 9 days in, left quad strain, out 5 games. She comes back. Looks good. Has that 32-point game against the Liberty where everyone's like, okay, she's back. Then left groin. Different injury, same leg area. Out 5 more games. Misses the Commissioner's Cup championship, which they actually won without her. Comes back again. Clearly not 100%. You could see it. She's shooting 31% over a 4-game stretch. Then in the final minute against Connecticut, she makes this pass to Mitchell. Great pass. Backdoor layup. and you can see her grab at her right groin. Different side this time. That was July 15th. She never played again. Missed the All-Star game in Indianapolis, in her home arena, the place that sold out specifically because of her. She had to sit there and watch. This is someone who never missed a game in 4 years at Iowa, never missed a game her rookie year, played through everything, and now she's talking to reporters about how it's the first time I haven't felt like a young body. She said that. 23 years old, saying she doesn't feel young anymore. Now look, I'm not saying she's broken. I'm not saying her career is in trouble. Sabrina Ionescu went through the same thing her second year. Ankle injuries, soft tissue stuff, in and out of the lineup. She bounced back and became MVP caliber. It happens to a lot of players. The body has to adjust to the professional grind. But here's the question nobody's really asking out loud. If you're a free agent right now and you're thinking about signing with Indiana, are you looking at that injury history going, yeah, she'll definitely be healthy when it matters? Or are you a little nervous? Because there's a difference between a player being hurt and a player being injury-prone. And I don't know which one Clark is yet. Neither do the Fever. Neither does anyone. They went 8-5 with her playing, 16-15 without. That's good enough to make the playoffs. That's not good enough to win a championship. Not even close. And that uncertainty, whether she's going to be there in May and June when it actually counts, that has to change how you build around her. Or at least it should. So let's talk about what they're actually facing this offseason, because it's kind of a mess. 3 players under contract for 2026. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Michaela Timpson. That's the whole roster. 3 people. Kelsey Mitchell, free agent. Lexi Hull, restricted free agent, meaning she can talk to other teams, but Indiana can match any offer. Sophie Cunningham, free agent. Natasha Howard, free agent. Ari McDonald, free agent. Odyssey Sims, the woman who almost got them to the finals, free agent. They have to rebuild basically the entire roster from scratch. 9 or 10 players they have to go find. And here's where I start getting worried, because I already see where this is going. First thing, they're going to bring back Natasha Howard. Now Howard actually played well for them. She was solid. Good veteran presence, knew her role, showed up in the playoffs. But she's 35 now, and the same analysts who were hyping up Bonner last year are already saying Howard's not the presence she used to be. Those are the exact words. Sound familiar? That's literally what people said about Bonner before they signed her. She's older, but she's still got it. Championship experience matters. She'll be the veteran leader they need. Then she got waived after 9 games. I'm not saying Howard is Bonner. Different players, different situations. But if they give Howard significant money, they're betting on an aging body again, and we just saw how that worked out. Second thing, they're going to pay Mitchell the supermax, which fine, she earned it. MVP finalist, best season of her career. The way she stepped up when Clark went down was incredible. But here's the problem. Kelsey Mitchell can't defend. She's below average on that end. Always has been. It's the one hole in her game. And you know who else can't defend? Caitlin Clark. She's gotten better, but she's still not good on that end. So now you've got 2 guards, your starting backcourt, who are both defensive liabilities. Every good team is going to hunt those matchups all game long. The Aces did it in the playoffs. A'ja Wilson had 35 points in Game 5. Jackie Young had 32. Part of that was just them being great players. Part of that was Indiana's guards getting cooked. You can survive that in the regular season. In a 7-game playoff series against Vegas or New York or Minnesota, they're going to target you every single possession. Third thing, they're still not going to fix the spacing. Aaliyah Boston is awesome. Third-year player, already an all-star, does everything you want from a franchise center, except shoot threes. She takes maybe 1 a game. Doesn't stretch the defense at all. They needed a stretch big last year, a 4 or a 5 who can actually make teams pay for helping off them. They didn't get one. Bonner was supposed to help with that, but yeah, they're going to need one this year too. And based on how they've operated, I think they're going to sign some veteran name who used to be good. Someone with championship experience. Instead of actually addressing the roster construction issue. I've seen this movie before. I watched it last February. And here's another wrinkle that's making everything harder. The CBA situation. For people who don't follow the business side, the The collective bargaining agreement is basically the rule book for how contracts and salaries work. The old one expired at the end of last season. They're negotiating a new one right now, which means everything's frozen. The players' union is literally telling people don't sign anything yet. Breanna Stewart came out publicly and said they advised all players to wait until the new deal is done. Because if you sign now, you're locking yourself into the old salary structure, and the new CBA is expected to have way higher salaries across the board. So Mitchell can't really sign even if she wanted to. Hull's waiting. Everyone's waiting. The Fever can't lock down their own players. And once the new CBA is finalized, then comes the expansion draft. Portland and Toronto are joining the league for 2026, 2 new teams, and they're going to build their rosters partly through an expansion draft, which means they get to pick players from every existing team. The Fever will have to protect some players, Clark and Boston for sure, probably whoever they re-sign, and leave everyone else exposed. That means players like Lexi Hull could get poached, players they spent 3 years developing, players who just figured out how to play together after all the injuries and chaos of last season. It's going to be messy. And when front offices are operating in chaos, they make desperate moves. They overpay for a big name because they're scared of losing what they have. They prioritize reputation over fit. And I can already picture the press conference. Some veteran who won a title 6 or 7 years ago. Doesn't run anymore. Can't really space the floor. But they'll talk about championship DNA and knowing what it takes to win, and everyone will nod along. Meanwhile, the actual problem, building a roster that fits around Clark's style of play, goes unsolved. Again. All right, let me be constructive for a minute. Let me tell you what I think they should actually do if they want to win a championship in the next few years. First, let Howard walk. I know that sounds harsh. I know she played well. I know she's a good locker room presence and the players like her. But she's 35 years old. She's not getting better. And more importantly, she doesn't fit what they need. What they need is a forward who can run. Someone young and athletic who can get out in transition with Clark, catch lobs, finish at the rim, and guard multiple positions. That's the profile. That's what makes Clark's game sing. Find the next Brianna Turner. Don't re-sign the last Natasha Howard. Second, re-sign Mitchell, yes, but then find a guard who can actually defend. If you're going to have 2 small guards in your starting lineup, one of them has to be a stopper, someone who can take the toughest perimeter assignment and let Clark and Mitchell focus on offense. Sydney Colson was supposed to be that, but she's 36 now and tore her Achilles last season. Find the next version of her, a defensive specialist guard who doesn't need shots but can absolutely lock people up. Third, invest everything you possibly can into keeping Clark healthy. I don't care how good your roster looks on paper. If Clark plays 13 games again, none of it matters. You're a first-round exit at best. That means sports science, load management, real depth so you're not running her 38 minutes every night in meaningless regular season games. Maybe you rest her on back-to-backs early in the year. Maybe you're more cautious at the first sign of tightness instead of playing through it. Her long-term health is the only thing that actually matters for this franchise. Treat it like the precious resource it is. Fourth, use your draft picks on young players. They have all their 2026 picks. First round, second round, third round. Use them on athletes, players who can develop. This team's ceiling isn't winning one championship next year with a bunch of aging veterans. It's winning multiple championships over the next decade with Clark and Boston, and young players who grow together. That's the window. That's the vision they should have. Build for 2027, 2028, 2029. Not just 2026. But are they going to do any of that? I mean, based on last offseason, here's what I actually think happens. They re-sign Mitchell. That's the easy one. She's coming back on a supermax deal. Good move. They bring back Howard on a 1-year prove-it deal. Not my favorite move, but I get it. She's familiar. She played well. They don't want to blow everything up. They sign one more veteran presence who doesn't really fit. Someone who used to be great but is past their prime now. Big press conference. Lots of excitement. Championship experience. Clark comes back healthy. Plays 35-plus games. Looks like herself again. Reminds everyone why she's the most exciting player in the league. They win 27-28 games. Best record in franchise history probably. Make the playoffs as a 4 or 5 seed. And then they lose in the second round. Because when it actually matters, when they're playing Vegas or New York in a playoff series, they don't have enough around Clark. Teams will double her, make someone else beat them, and there won't be enough shooting or athleticism to punish it. Another year of almost. Another offseason of we're so close. Another round of excuses about injuries and fit and bad luck. And everyone will still overhype them heading into 2027. Look, I want to be wrong. I really do. That playoff run was insane. The way they refused to quit when Clark went down, when Cunningham went down, when McDonald went down, when Mitchell went down in Game 5, that was genuinely inspiring basketball. Stephanie White is a hell of a coach. What she got out of that roster was remarkable. But the front office keeps making the same mistakes. Veterans over athletes, names over fit, reputation over roster construction. Until that changes, they're not winning a championship. Tell me in the comments if I'm being too harsh, or if you see the same patterns I do. I'm curious what you think. Like, if you made it this far, subscribe if you want more of this. I'll catch you in the next one.